we've also got Les Finley here, who's kind of the grants manager up in Copeland in Cumbria. So afternoon, Les.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for the invite, and thanks to foundations who continue to support us in a really big way. And it's basically through consultation that we've been able to change things, and obviously what we're going to discuss is down to a real collaboration.
Yeah, so what we were going to touch with Les was we were looking at the Delta returns, which each local authority submits every year, and part of that questionnaire is around timescales, and the application to approval stage for some local authorities is a matter of days, and Copeland is one of those areas where it's a matter of days. So, how do you manage to approve grants so quickly, Les?
Well, basically, going back to what Bethan was saying about RRO and stuff like that. During lockdown, we use lockdown as a bit of actually, I know I shouldn't say this, but lockdown helped our team, because I think every local authority was the same. They had a gap, they had things stop, they had things slow down. We used it to develop our new DFG policy, which is out there, obviously, for public consultation. Everyone can see it. But we have this, we developed this sort of hierarchy of things, and at the top of the hierarchy, we've got the person. Basically, that's the grant applicant. But we also looked at partnerships, relationships, and what we call a team approach. And that's basically bringing together. When I say the team, I don't just mean my team. I mean the team that we have brought together at Copeland, which consists of us, the renewals team, the OT team, the adult OT team, the children's team, different other agencies such as AKW, Contour Showers, local design partners. But we also include in the team approach our in-house services as well. So we've got such as our legal team, building control, planning. And there's also another thing that we've put into the equation for DFGs and to help people is we have a policy now is there's no wrong door. So basically that is us as a local authority saying to people, you know, if you need advice, we're never going to turn around to it and say, you know, that's not my role. We will help signpost, you know, any applicant that needs advice on the process and going through the process. So now we've basically got really strong capabilities to have this group of people together, you know, and in the case of say, for instance, we do really look at the cases where there's a palliative care issue, degenerative problems, hospital discharge, you know, being stuck in a hospital or a care home. We've developed that policy alongside that. So a lot of our stats actually refer to things like that, because we've done quite a number now where we've had people who are terminally ill or stuck in hospital or care homes. So that we can turn them around now with doing the legwork and having this group of people. It's basically an unofficial home improvement agency we've got. It's not named that, but it is an unofficial, you know, home improvement agency. So, you know, we can turn things around very quickly because we've got this collaboration. And I mean, just examples, we can get a referral from an OT for a, say for instance, stairlift for somebody that's in hospital but can't come home until that's installed. And we've got the stats to prove it. We've actually approved them grants within 5 working days. And that again is about, it's not just about sitting back and letting the process run, it's about doing the legwork before other stuff happens. So, you know, we can get a tech officer visit done on the same day that we do the form filling, because that's another service we provide. We provide a form filling service to anybody that requires it.
So I suppose you said you kind of started this process off again, kind of first lockdown, was it? So yeah. Kind of two years ago. Yeah. So have you kind of refined it since? Have you kind of made further improvements as you've gone along as well?
We've had to, simply because one of the policies was we wouldn't we would disregard the financial assessment for any works under 7.5K.
Yeah.
But looking at that, we did a pilot scheme basically, and what we did, we helped. I think it was, we give assistance and approved grants for 29 people who would otherwise have not been eligible. You know, the need was there. All your 4 bit boxes were ticked.
Yeah.
But then we started to get, could I say, the floodgates started to open, and obviously with budgets in mind and maintaining the budget for the year so we can help as many people as possible, we had to look at savings of people. So one of the changes we made was we had to put a cap on the level of savings. So what we did there, we looked at other people, what they did, other organisations. So we took an average of £30,000. If your savings exceeded more than 30K, then the means test was applied.
Okay.
And basically, we see that as a fair, as a fair way. Because when we looked at it, we thought, well, somebody with £10,000 savings who was in need of a stair lift and a wet floor, you're looking at wiping their savings out. Now, obviously, some of our client group, that's all they've got, and that is there for a future need for them, day-to-day costs, but also, it's money that they've put aside all their life, so I think we looked at it in a sympathetic way, and I think the 30K does work.
Yeah, I think that's kind of similar to the Care Act financial assessment, which I've heard some other local authorities now moving their kind of DFG kind of discretionary approach towards, which I think, as anybody who's heard this webinar before will know, I think makes quite a lot of sense. So in terms of being able to make the improvements, Les, and kind of change the way you do that, what was kind of the instigator for that? Was it you? Was it kind of senior management? What kind of made the difference?
I came into the team in 2018 for the second time, the second stint in the advanced team. And I looked at it, and some of the early ones that I was looking at, we were just doing it as mandatory stuff. We weren't looking at the RRO, and it got frustrating because I was visiting people, and I basically felt like I was making false promises. We're going to deliver this DFG. We're going to do this. We're going to provide you with this equipment, but you can only have the 30K, or if you've got 20,000 savings and a healthy sort of occupational pension, it's not going to happen. There was people who I knew were, through our OT meetings, were in hospital, and the policy and process at the time, it did just slow things up, to the point where we had a couple of cases that dragged on because of this and that, and financial assessments, having to go into a hospital to try and get forms signed for people who are in hospital but can't come home. And I sat with my manager and I said, it is time for change. We've got to do this. And the frustrating thing is, to me, that was the amount of aborted works, which is really, it's just a misuse of funds, because you're having to pay so much money out for design and stuff like that. And then you get to the stage where you've gone out to tender, you've received all these quotes back, and the brick wall comes up because people don't have the funds. People nobody in our client group, nobody lives in a really affluent, it's not an affluent society, because by nature of it, most people are forced, or one of the partners is forced not to work to care for a relative or a child. So I looked at all them things, and again, as I say, with collaboration from yourselves, from Roy, we got to a stage where we've got a policy now which has removed so many brick walls.
So were your kind of senior managers and members supportive of that? Did they kind of get on board with it? Yeah.
we took it to, we did a pilot scheme, and as I say, there was 20 odd people who got help who wouldn't have normally. But we took it to our overview and scrutiny committee, who were absolutely 100% behind it. You know, having explained what I'm saying to you guys about abortive works and people who wait, you know, I mean, this is really unfortunate, but we had 2 cases where they'd waited that long. They basically passed away before the application came to fruition. Which is a real shame.
Yeah. So what's next then, Les? What other improvements are you kind of planning?
Well, I'm looking at, as you know, Copeland, Allerdale, and Carlisle are heading towards LGR.
Yeah.
Now I've discussed this with quite a few OTs. We in Copeland, Carlisle, and Allerdale, we have a real golden opportunity, and it's just because LGR has come on the back of the guidance coming out, which is quite uncanny, really, because at the moment in Cumbria, and I'm not knocking anybody's policies, but it is a postcode lottery as to how your grant is administered. And I'm not saying for any time at all that one policy is better than the other, because we all have our pluses and minuses. But it's the golden opportunity, and hopefully I get a chance to be part of the discussions at my level.
Yeah. That
can we modernise, like the guidance. I've been looking at a lot of the guidance, and to me, one of the most interesting parts of the guidance is Chapter 7, which references assisted living, which I've never been involved in an application or a grant that is where we've got a referral to provide, you know, voice sensitive heat controls and stuff like that. But I think it's quite an exciting time to go forward into that, and hopefully my counterparts in the other authorities we can all get on board with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. As somebody's just commented on the chat, so as Carmen's just commented on the chat, so refreshing to hear you speak, Les. More common sense, less brick walls. Well done to Copeland.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's all about. It's just about getting a really complicated process, having the right team on the ground, because I do have a fantastic team. I have a fantastic technical officer, but it's about simplifying a really difficult process with, again, what you've said there. As long as we tick them 4 boxes, we look at what we're doing through the RRO. You know, and again, one consideration obviously for everyone is budgets. You know, we've got to make sure we can help people when we need to. But yeah, it's about simplifying things.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Les. That's been hopefully very inspiring as for the audience as well. That you can make things happen if you have a kind of positive can do approach to it.